So I can write service here. What's your product that you're selling? I mean, ultimately when it comes down to it. Yourself? Okay. Anyone else? So this is a good start. I mean, most of us would say, if you're a realtor, right, you're selling houses. Like, I'm in the business of selling houses. The shift I want to make in these next couple days, and if you come away with anything, I really think this is going to be worth a lot to you. The shift is if you move from thinking I'm selling houses to I'm selling trust.
Prior to platform, I was making roughly about $150,000, $160,000. And to most people, that might just be great money. But now I'm on pace to make over $750,000.
The reason why my business right now is so successful is because of the quality of leads that come in. Don't get me wrong, you have to work them, you have to cultivate them, you have to follow up with people. It's not that difficult, it just takes time to do it. And if you take time to do it, you'll make a ton of money.
And I'm a mortgage lender, so I'm not on the same, commission splits as a realtor. They pretty much get 3 times what we get per deal, and platform still makes sense. I mean, I still want to use it each month in order to generate leads, because I'm not looking for just one deal a month.
I had so many friends say, when the market crashed, we thought you were done. That was it, we thought your business was going under. And it's like you came back with a vengeance. All of a sudden we see videos all over the place and your signs are going up all over the place, and now you're really showing other people how it's done.
Really high-hanging fruit to me. It was like just a game changer.
If there's someone that's thinking about doing it, I think you really have to just look at your business and how committed are you to growth and to having a long-term sustainable business. And if that's you, then the monthly cost plus your ad spend is just ridiculously low.
The most powerful marketing lesson I ever learned didn't come in a seminar or a classroom or a university. It actually came here in an apple orchard in rural Minnesota. We're about 100 miles west of the Twin Cities right now. I used to come here as a kid and pick apples in the fall during harvest season. And what I found was that if I picked the apples at the bottom of the tree, or if I tried to, I should say, they were never there. Everyone always picked those apples first. That's where we got the expression low-hanging fruit. But if I came later in the day, if I came in the evening and brought a ladder, there were always plenty of apples on the top of the tree, the high-hanging fruit. No one had the patience or the vision to pick those apples at the top of the tree. There was no competition. I could have as many apples as I wanted to. And what I discovered is that this is extremely relevant in the real estate industry. If you apply this idea, now known as high-hanging fruit, you can double, you can triple, you can even quadruple your business by filling your pipeline of leads that are ready to go in 4, 5, 6 months, because most agents only want those leads at the very bottom of the sales cycle. They only want the low-hanging fruit because that's the easiest lead to generate. So if you apply this to your business, it can grow very, very quickly. This is how to do it.
Anybody can go out and represent somebody who's ready to buy today. The difficult part of real estate is cultivating those people that are 2, 3, 4 months out. And to do that, it takes strategy, it takes effort, it takes time, and you also need to have a system in place. You can't just wing it.
So high-hanging fruit is this idea that rather than targeting the leads at the bottom of the sales funnel or at the bottom of the sales cycle, you should actually intentionally structure your marketing investments so that you're attracting leads that are at the top of the sales funnel. So what high-hanging fruit means is rather than trying to get the buyers and sellers that are ready to go next week, or someone who's pre-approved right now, or someone who wants to list their house tomorrow, you'll actually get a much better ROI from your marketing spending if you target leads that are ready to go in 3 months or 4 months or maybe even 5 months. Because if you target those buyers and sellers, what we call the high-hanging fruit, you could spend the same amount of money and generate much more leads.
Yeah, I mean, high-hanging fruit to me is building up that database that you have of actual leads that down the road are looking to purchase or looking to refinance or, something along with the home buying and refinancing process.
We're not after the low-hanging fruit. So Tim has a book even that's high-hanging fruit, great book. And it's a lot about the same way I've conducted business. You know, I'm in this for the long game. So, you know, a lot of these leads are not ready tomorrow, and that's fine with me, because these are not the Zillow leads where they're calling you on a Sunday. If you don't return the call, answer the phone, drop what you're doing, leave your family, and go show a house right away, they've moved on to some other realtor that will. So it's been great for me. I mean, the way we can cultivate these leads over time and build a relationship, I mean, it's nuts. I was telling Tim the other day that I have taken somebody from initial opt-in to under contract, and I didn't even have their phone number. And I didn't realize this until I was excited to tell them they were under contract, and realized I don't even have their phone number. I had to email them and tell them.
Basically, we're engaging with people way earlier in the sales cycle than pretty much everyone else is. So we're getting in front of people and meeting people, you know, maybe 6 to 9 months or a year before they're considering buying. But if you can get in at that level in the sales cycle and establish relationships, start establishing trust with those people, you're going to be the first person top of mind that they think of when they're actually ready to, you know, engage in a transaction.
Who here has read High-Hanging Fruit? Cool. So in like the second chapter of the book, I start with a story. My grandparents own an apple orchard in like rural Minnesota. And ever since I was a kid, we'd go there in the fall and like pick apples. It's not a huge operation, so they're not selling to like grocery stores around the country. It's mostly like, Andrew, how many acres is it? I don't even know.
No, it's like 1,000 trees.
Yeah, it's not big. So it's not like we're exporting apples to other continents and stuff. It's mostly so our family can have apples. We can give apples to, you know, our family friends. We usually donate some to the local Christian school. They use them in like a fundraiser, whatever, and then we have all the apple juice that we want for us, which is pretty awesome. When I was growing up, we would go there, and it just gives you a unique perspective, I guess, on what the agricultural process looks like. Because I didn't grow up on a farm. I'm totally not a farm kid. I didn't know any of that stuff. So when you realize that apples are actually just grown, you know, organically from the earth, you have to tend to them, you have to cultivate them. It doesn't just pop up in the grocery store, right? It gives you a unique understanding of what it takes to create an apple. Most of us have that same mentality with leads. Like if we've existed our whole career with our broker giving us leads, right? Or buying leads off of Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, or hiring a company to send out direct mailers on our behalf and the leads come. We forget that, you know, here's trust. If here's the first point of contact with a lead, and then there's this whole process here, we're used to getting the lead here. Let's just say we get it right here from Zillow. And all we're seeing is what takes place kind of right here, right? But really, from the perspective of the client, right? From the perspective of the buyer or the seller, this is all very real. It's not as if just because you hopped on the scene right here because you got a ping that, hey, you have a new lead from Zillow or you have a new lead from wherever. It's not like nothing before that matters.
It's definitely, you know, the high-hanging fruit philosophy is just building relationships. Tim and I were talking a lot that, you know, instead of tracking leads, track relationships.
Okay, so if you haven't read High-Hanging Fruit yet, best book I've ever read. Some of the leads that I got 2 years ago, I just sold to this last year. It didn't cost me any money to keep in contact with them. It didn't. It was an email now and then. They're on a list, and once in a while I'll just pop on my, hey Joe, how you doing? They're high-end homes, but those people a lot of times take their time to come to the point where they can sell. But when it came to that time, because they felt like they knew me as well as they did from that contact, they didn't call anyone else. They called me. And patience is a virtue that has panned out.
It's definitely different. I mean, it's the way I want to conduct business. I don't want to have to chase people. You know, if I don't return a phone call in 5 minutes, I don't want that client to have moved on. You know, that's not a client to me. That's not the relationships I want.
So by attracting leads that are at the top of the sales cycle, this high-hanging fruit idea, it really gives you the opportunity to build a real relationship with these leads. So rather than just, you know, churning and burning through tons of leads that are coming in from Zillow or Trulia or Realtor.com, you know, you're actually able to build a relationship with leads because you're interacting with them and you're providing value much earlier in the sales process than most other realtors. So rather than kind of like swooping onto the scene, 2 weeks before they're ready to get pre-approved and buy a house, you're in contact with them 3 months out, 4 months out, 5 months out, 6 months even before they're actually ready to buy or sell, just providing value to them. So even if it's 6 months away, during those 6 months, you can actually create a relationship with them. And because it's a relationship, you don't have to use any awkward sales scripts, or closing strategies, because you're actually building a relationship. So when it comes time for them to list their house, or when it comes time for them, to contact a lender and get pre-approved and go out and buy a house, they're not going to interview other agents. They already know you. You have a relationship with them. So high-hanging fruit gives you a competitive advantage in the sense that you're actually generating real relationships with these leads. Like, they're not just leads, they'll actually become your friends.
A lot of real estate these days, they want the quick sale. They don't want to put in the work. But with this system, you can really form a relationship and trust. And at the end of it, obviously you help that person get into a dream home, but because you put in the work, and they have that trust, that just snowballs into referrals.
Basically, we're engaging with people way earlier in the sales cycle, but if you can get in at that level in the sales cycle and establish relationships, start establishing trust with those people, you're going to be the first person top of mind that they think of when they're actually ready to, engage in a transaction.
The people that I was taking out for coffee last January and so upset that, man, they're never going to do anything, about 20 of them have come to me within the last month. And I'm showing all of them homes right now. So I'm running ragged, selling them homes, but you know what? I'm gonna have 20 more closings now.
So again, it's all about generating leads by providing value to people extremely early in the sales cycle. 4, 5, 6 months before they're actually ready to buy or sell a home. Most agents only care about leads that are ready to go right now. So if you can build a constant pipeline of leads that are ready to go in the future, you'll never have to worry about where your next closing is coming from. So imagine looking at a calendar and knowing how many closings that you have lined up next month, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 5 months from now. How awesome would that feel, knowing that you can plan out your next 6 months as an agent, and any referrals you get in that time is just icing on the cake. That's high-hanging fruit 101.
Here's the magic. Here is the magic. Where platform truly comes in. Those 3, 4, 5, 6 leads that we worked 6, 7 months ago are ready to move. They're ready to go. And now the 7 transactions that you're doing in July, now we're able to do 13, 14 in August or September, okay? And then when those months come around, more of that fruit that was not ready to move, that wasn't ripened yet, is now ready to be picked. And so it's a process, of course.
So I'll give you an example. We had an opt-in on December 22nd, a pharmacist through a program that we run that's targeted to healthcare. We closed her the end of June. So, I mean, just, that kind of shows you just in the 8 months we've done, she was early in the sales cycle. And then through just quick follow-up, we're able to stay on her, and the platform system helps with that follow-up.
As realtors, if we're used to basically picking off leads at the very end of the sales cycle where we buy them from Zillow, which can be very, very expensive, it's easy to forget that really all the value creation, and I would argue all the opportunity for growth and for growing your business, all the opportunity is right here. Most realtors think, and this is lenders, this is everyone, they think that where there's an opportunity for arbitrage and where they can grow, like where's their leverage opportunity, and this is probably why you think you're in this room right now. You think that it's all right here. Like you think that if I could just close more, right? If I could convert a higher percentage, if I could get a better sales script, or what do I say to leads on the phone, or what can I tell them in this situation that'll get them to take that next step? You basically think that everything is happening here. And I would like to put forward an idea that you can wrestle with it for the rest of the day in the next couple days. But if it's so difficult right here to, close a lead, maybe you opened wrong. Because if you can generate a lead when they're 3 or 4 months out, 5 months out, even 6 months out, you basically have up to 180 days to brainwash them. Let's be just honest here. I mean, you have 3, 4, 5 months where you have a monopoly on their minds. You can communicate with them, and probably no other realtor, no other team, no other lenders are talking with them because they're not even aware of them. They don't start caring until right here. So if you can send them the market update videos we talk about, you can send them some informational videos, maybe, I'm going off the top of my head here, 3 most common mistakes made by home buyers, what you need to do 90 days before you buy a home. Can you imagine if this is 90 days, let's say, before right here, and let's say that this is somewhere like 6 months. Can you imagine if you sent them a 3-part video series or something? 3 things to do 90 days before you buy a home, or 3 things you should know 90 days before you buy a home, and they get that about 90 days before they buy a home. I mean, can you see how that positions you differently from every other realtor? You can make minor improvements over here. I mean, relatively minor improvements. Like what I just said is not rocket science, right? Even if this is 6 months, that means that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then basically 6. In that 6 months there, they should have received 6 market update videos from you, where you're giving them an update on what's going on in your local real estate market. They probably saw those both in retargeting ads and emailed to them, right? So even if you didn't have any personal contact in those first 6 months, I mean, really, you're cultivating them. So by the time they get here, there really shouldn't be a whole lot of closing that needs to go on.
So now that you have an idea of what this high-hanging fruit system is all about, I want to give you a behind-the-scenes look at some top-producing realtors who have implemented this strategy. We actually paid to fly a camera crew around the country to capture these stories so you can see the real impact it's making in their businesses. As you'll see, when you build a pipeline of future leads that using this high-hanging fruit strategy, really cool things can happen in your business. And just so you know, the realtors that we interviewed are using a specific marketing system called Platform. So here's a behind-the-scenes look at how they've doubled, tripled, and even quadrupled their businesses.
Hello there, my name is Jose Medina. I'm currently a real estate agent here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I've been in this profession now for actually 10 years this year.
Hi, my name is Priscilla, and this is Asa. He's going on 2. And yeah, my husband and I met actually online, and that was 7 years ago. So we're going on 7 years and 3 babies later.
So Jose and Priscilla have an awesome story. And Priscilla used to be a loan officer, so she understood the typical feast or famine cycle that most agents have to live with. Jose works full-time as a realtor, and he's quadrupled his business since he started using this platform system. But just a few years ago, he was working extremely hard just to close 25 deals a year. Now he's on pace to do over 100 transactions this year. But I'll let Jose share the story in his own words.
And I realized that my business is not going to grow unless I change the way that I think, implement new ideas, new strategies, new promotions of some sort. I can't blame the market anymore. I can't blame my clients not referring people to me. I can't blame my wife.
When you're in real estate and you don't know where your leads are coming from, you're on a constant unknown level. Am I going to get a job? What should I do? Yeah, so what Platform and what you've brought to my family is peace of mind, because it's not, where is it coming from anymore?
I was on a path, I was on a journey to find the right outlet, and it was Platform. And I'll never forget when I first met the founder of Platform, and we discussed the possibilities of what it's going to take to get me to the next level and what I needed to do to implement to supercharge my business.
I do remember the night that Jose received his first batch of leads from one of your marketing campaigns, and 170 leads in one night. And it's just increased from then on. So
with Platform's assistance, we were able to launch my business and take my business from 25 transactions in 2013 to 50 transactions at the end of 2014. I doubled my business. And now we took that year's worth of experience, that year's worth of results, and then we forwarded it over and plugged it into what? 2015. And in 2015, we took our business from 50 transactions to 70 transactions.
So in just a few years, Jose scaled his business from 25 transactions to 70. But the story doesn't end there. Jose has since scaled his business even further to over 100 transactions a year. Here's a behind-the-scenes tour of his new office.
But real quick, this is my office. This is my upper floor, so that you know. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what I do, how we've created this amazing business over the last several months and so forth, and how Platform has assisted us. You know, as we continue to walk here, I've got numbers here in my hands. Just alone in July, we're about to hit 80K in July. Now, out of the 12 leads or 12 closings that I have in July, 7 of those are actually from Platform. That's right. They actually were generated through the Platform lead generating system. And so I'm going to take you right now and give you a little sneak peek of what all this looks like, what this represents. Hey guys, so we're in my office now. As you can tell, I stand for a living, for the record. This is where I cultivate, this is where I generate, this is where all the magic happens, for the record. And this is how I do it, but more importantly, this is why I do it. You know, I didn't grow up in the nicest home. My family wasn't the richest. You know, I barely ate possibly 2 meals a day if I was lucky. Shoot, when I graduated high school, I only weighed 102 pounds. And when I joined the Army in 3 months, I came out weighing out of basic training, so that, you know, 145 pounds. It just kind of shows you where I came from.
Jose and I do share that in common. We both grew up pretty, you know, rough, and eating bologna and cheese sandwiches. Coming to, or, you know, living a life where we don't have to look at prices, you know. It's been very nice, very nice.
So guys, let's talk about money. Let's talk about how Platform has changed my lifestyle in terms of my finances. Prior to Platform, I was making roughly about $150,000, $160,000. And to most people, that might just be great money. But now I'm on pace to make over $750,000. And how that's transformed me and my family and our finances has been phenomenal, right? This year, I mean, we're able to do so many things. It's unreal.
It's been amazing. We have date nights now. The luxury of having a babysitter, you know, whenever I want, and the luxury of just, yeah, spending time with Jose, him being home more, having his schedule. I mean, it didn't start out that way, but now that we're in the 3rd year, he can set his schedule with what he wants, so yeah.
Jose's story is just incredible. But at this point, you're probably wondering, is this too good to be true? Well, again, I'll let Jose answer that question in his own words.
You're probably wondering what percentage of those leads are actually coming from Platform. Initially, in 2014, 95% of my transactions actually came from Platform, believe it or not. In 2015, it dropped down to about 85%, so that you know. And it's not because Platform wasn't doing what it's supposed to do or generate or help me. We started receiving more COIs, more sphere of influence, more referrals. And so it was a combination, so that you know. And in 2016, after looking at my numbers and being on pace to exceed the 100 transaction mark, which is a result that I have for myself this year, due to the shift in the business, I'm actually doing more listings now than I am buyers. However, Platform has also assisted me with that as well.
I think it's just the stability that I appreciate so much that Platform has given us, you know, because there's formulas and you're working them, and the numbers speak for themselves.
The marketing efforts that Platform has assisted me with has allowed me to, believe it or not, I could be at restaurants, I could be at new home builds. Even my landscaper recognized me and said, "You're the guy on Facebook," you know?
With your work, Tim, and Platform, he's able to, you know, leverage his business in such a way that he's able to live a life, you know, without stress. Like, 25 deals is good, but is it stressful to acquire those? You know, do you know where your next lead's coming from? You know, feast or famine in this business.
Yes, I'm doing over 100 transactions this year, but keep in mind that the only lead generating system that I have out there right now is Platform. I've excluded Zillow, Trulia, all of these lead marketing generating systems that call me on a week-to-week basis. And I love knowing that when they call me, I say to them, "Guys, I don't need you, all right? I generate my own leads now." You know, another aspect that Platform has helped me with my business is freed up some time for me. Because of this, I'm now in a place and in a time where I can have that space, that bandwidth to promote on my business, my family, and any other extracurricular activities that I choose to do. Platform, I know it sounds crazy, but it's giving me a life, all right? It's giving me a life. Thank you, Platform.
We're so focused on what's a genius new ad strategy, how can I get more people to my open houses. We're so focused on the micro that we totally miss that we could put in half the effort on these big picture ideas and actually get way better results. The reason you're holding apples and oranges in your hand is that if you want to exponentially grow your business and you really embrace all these ideas here of trying to live in this world of high-hanging fruit versus low-hanging fruit and living here, if you want to live in that world, just set yourself up as an orange when the rest of your competition is apples.
The next real estate agent we interviewed is in Austin, Texas. She left a great job in the world of corporate finance to pursue her career as a real estate agent. In her past finance job, she was already making over $100,000 a year, so she had high expectations for her real estate business. But after struggling to figure out how to build a local brand, she turned to Platform. Her business soon doubled.
My name's Dani Steece, and I have been a realtor for about 2.5 years. I started my career in real estate coming out of the financial industry. So when I was in college, my major was finance. And so right out of school, I got a consulting job. And I did that for about 6 years. I liked it. It was good money, but I was just feeling a little burnt out and wanting a change. My biggest challenge when I first got into the business was really having like a focus and a direction in how I was going to grow my business, which was kind of ironic because I came from a background of consulting businesses, and I had it was easy for me to tell other people how to run their business. And then when I got into the business, I really didn't realize how much I had to market myself.
Like so many ambitious agents who want to scale their business, Dani hit a plateau. Sooner or later, everyone runs out of sphere of influence and referral business. It'll happen to all of us. Not all your cousins and friends are going to be moving every year. You hit a point where hustle isn't enough. If you're already working 80 hours a week, you can't just work harder to double your business. You have to create a marketing platform.
As I said, I was generating most of my business through referrals. I also did have some relocation business that was given to me by my broker, but that business was so expensive, so it didn't really appeal to me. And my friends and family, you know, those referrals were starting to run out. So I kind of had like a come to Jesus moment and realized like I need to figure out how to generate leads and generate business outside of what I'm already doing if I want to not only sustain this level of revenue, but to grow it. Because ultimately, like, I want to continue to grow my company and grow my business.
You know, as the old saying goes, if you want results you've never had before, you'll have to do things you've never done before. And so Dani was searching for a true system that could take her business to the next level.
I first heard about high-hanging fruit and platform marketing on Facebook. I saw a little ad on my newsfeed, and you know, I honestly don't remember why I was drawn to it and why I clicked on it, but I did. And you know, I think I got an email response when I filled out my information, and it just said, "Hey, saw you clicked on this. Were you interested in learning more?" or something like that. And I don't know why, but I felt compelled to respond, like I had to respond. And I wanted to have marketing for my own business that would compel people to respond to me in the same way.
What's really cool is that this interview was recorded with Dani only 4 months after she signed up with Platform. So even though she's only been using the strategy for a short time, she's already on pace to double her business. One of Dani's favorite parts about the Platform strategy is that it's exclusive. It only works with one agent per market. Unlike Zillow leads, where there's hundreds of agents in your market buying leads, Platform only works with one agent in your entire city. So it's quality, not quantity.
In Austin, we have probably, I don't know, like 10,000 agents, something crazy like that. And I love that I'm literally the only agent in my market using this marketing system. I have agents, literally agents and lenders call me every day about my ads because they've seen them and they want to try to like be a part of it. And sorry, but you know, sorry, but it's exclusive because I was able to lock up this market. So I'm really, really excited about that. And the fact that my competitors and colleagues see the success and potential in what I'm doing really validates, you know, that it's a great tool.
What if you started thinking about your business like a content company, like a media company, like Facebook? What if you started thinking about your business like Uber or Netflix or Amazon Prime? What if you stopped worrying about this and just put all your attention over here in building a list? I think you would have more success as a real estate agent in the next couple years if what you actually thought about was just how can I build my list to tens of thousands of people in the local area that trust me, regardless of whether or not they're buying a home anytime soon. I think if you focused on doing that rather than worrying about how can I get more leads right here, I think you're going to get this too. And you're also going to have a full pipeline. So content marketing over the last couple of years has basically been how can we use content to make more of this happen, right? So a lot of videos out there have been kind of cheesy and people write blog articles, right? It's all about blogging, how about getting SEO to your blog, and all the content that's produced kind of has like a salesy dimension to it, you know? What if you truly started thinking of yourself as a media company where you would produce videos about your local area, or you would write about your local area, or highlight local businesses, whatever, and there wasn't necessarily a sales hook to it or a strategy to get people down here? I think if you had an email list of 10,000 people or 20,000 people, I think that this would take care of itself.
My very first platform lead that I closed on was actually, it was 2 deals. It was a listing and they bought a house with me as well. They were a young couple. They saw one of my ads on Facebook. You know, we started just a casual conversation and I offered, you know, some help and advice, nothing too, you know, high pressure, but just said, hey, I'm here and I'd love to help you in any way I can. And so I came over and met with them. They didn't interview any other agents. They signed the listing agreement and we got their house sold. So I did both transactions, and that was over $500,000 in sales for my first platform lead.
High-hanging fruit is really about having your cake and eating it too. You get the best of both worlds. When you use this strategy, you create a massive quantity of leads because you're building the pipeline. But you also know that these are quality leads because they've specifically signed up for more information on your local real estate market. The key is that you don't just trick people on your website into registering to search for homes when they don't actually want to register. Okay, so you're offering to send them information about the market, which proves that they are interested in buying. This ensures that you aren't getting fake email addresses and fake phone numbers, but real people who actually plan to buy or sell a home.
The lead quality has been exceptional, and people actually are nice and want to talk to you. And I think it's because we're providing some value before we're asking for something. I used to do different ads and marketing to people, and I would ask for a phone number or an email and they would not be real. Or when I actually called them, they didn't want to talk to me. And so in this system, it's totally different. People are receptive and they actually do want to talk to you, and it's kind of changes the dynamic in realtor lead relationship than what I've been used to in the past.
If you had 10,000 people on your list and you only had a 25% open rate, you're still having 2,500 people open your emails every month, right? It's not hard to imagine if you had 2,500 people opening your emails every month, how that doesn't translate to this without a whole lot of extra effort on your part. It just kind of happens. I mean, Paul, you've been with us again for almost 2 years. I would say for you, probably half of your business results come from people either just calling you or emailing you or messaging your Facebook page, but they didn't necessarily even sign up on a landing page. Or they did a long time ago, but they've been seeing your retargeting ads for so long that they give you a call or they text you or again, they message your Facebook page. And they're just like, hey, I'm finally ready to sell my house. Or I'm finally ready to buy a house. And Paul's thinking hey, Bob, that's great. Or who the hell is Bob? And he has no idea who this person is, but the person's like, hey, I'm finally ready, as if they know Paul. They feel like they know him because they've been getting his market updates, they've been seeing the retargeting ads, they've seen all the random listings and things he's been posting. They actually feel like they know him, and by the language they use, you can tell that that's really what they believe. Hey, I'm finally ready to buy a house, when can we talk? And Paul has to basically pretend like he knows who the heck they are, because he actually doesn't. Yeah.
We sent out a market video last week, and Brian and I had gone on a listing appointment about 6 weeks ago, maybe 8 weeks ago, and we sent out a market video, and we get a response. Oh, I'm so glad you responded to us. We're working really hard, and this and that. And Kathy was like, well, who's this? And I'm like, I don't know. It's a $450,000 listing we forgot about, just because. And if we wouldn't have sent the market update video, it would have been nothing.
Yeah. So that's really good. I have a question on that point. Yeah. So is sending monthly market update videos enough to, over this period of time, is that enough to establish trust? I mean, I haven't been doing platform long enough, but it sounds like
that's my highest dollar per hour activity I do on a monthly basis. It takes me 15 minutes to film, and I always get at least one deal out of it. That's $20,000 an hour.
As you can see, your business naturally grows as a function of how aggressively you build your database. And that's what the platform strategy is all about. Build a list of people who trust you. That's it. It's really that simple. So next I want to take you to Northern Colorado and introduce you to a loan officer who is using the platform strategy as a lender. He's been able to more than double his business. Typically lenders have to beg realtors for referrals, but Zach has found a way to generate so many qualified leads, he has agents coming to him asking him for business. Speaking of business, it's booming.
Yeah, my name is Zach Sullivan. I'm a mortgage lender here in Colorado. I'm not a real estate agent. I've been working with the platform for a little over a year now. Started out, I was referred over by a friend. It was a little little iffy at first, and then after I kind of sat down and started working and seeing what platform was developing and doing, it's really taken off. I started out with just me being a loan officer, didn't have a team, and now I'm to the point where I actually have a full-time processor and a full-time loan officer assistant in Colorado also. Currently, only from the platform system, I'm probably looking at closing a minimum of 4 deals a month, sometimes up to 7 to 8 deals a month. A lot of those are going to be strictly from the platform or referred from another client that was in platform. But I would say I haven't seen a month of less than 4 deals.
When Zach and I first talked on the phone over a year ago, he told me he knew he needed to be generating more leads, but he was really skeptical of online leads. He'd recently hired a well-known online real estate leads company, and it was awful. The leads were just terrible. Fake phone numbers, fake email addresses, and it was expensive, so naturally he was really careful. I'll let him explain what happened next.
I was most skeptical when we first started is we had actually signed on with another sort of lead generation system beforehand, and the leads were just horrible. So the biggest thing that I was nervous about was, are they going to be leads that are interested in buying, or are they just going to be leads that liked what was on the page and liked what was running? Everyone can generate leads, but if you can't generate leads that are wanting to buy a home and are actually interested and willing to take the time and respond to me, then the leads aren't any good. They're not anything better than Zillow or all the other lead generation companies out there that are just giving you hundreds of leads that aren't interested in what you're looking for.
The first couple months are always a process. It usually takes 60 to 90 days to really get the platform strategy dialed in, because this is all about high-hanging fruit. You're probably not going to generate a super hot lead the very first week, and so it requires patience. But the payoff is that you're building up a massive pipeline of future leads, and that is what this is all about.
Well, when I first started with platform, it probably took a good 60 to 90 days to get systems set up, follow-up set up, and really get it dialed in to where I knew what I was doing on the leads and I was doing the correct follow-up. At that point of 60 to 90 days is when it kind of hit me that, wow, I've got 7, 8, 9, 10 buyers out shopping that are all pre-approved. If all these people go into contract in 1 week, I'm gonna be scrambling. So, that first 60 to 90 days is all about getting stuff dialed in. And then after that point, we just pretty much started running from there. 6 months in, I started getting so many leads that I literally had to tell Tim and Andrew to put it on pause because I couldn't handle everything. So once I got a little bit more support and kind of got my team dialed in, I pretty much have it set up to where all I'm doing is working leads all day long and getting them pre-approved.
I love hearing Zach's story because you have to remember that he's not even a real estate agent, he's a lender. In most markets, the loan officer is only getting about approximately 1% a deal on the commission, where realtors typically, are closer to 3%. So even though Zach is only earning 1% per deal, the platform strategy is still very profitable for him. So I think that speaks to how powerful this system really is.
Keep in mind, I'm a mortgage lender, so I'm not on the same, commission splits as a realtor. They pretty much get 3 times what we get per deal, and platform still makes sense. I still want to use it each month in order to generate leads because I'm not looking for just 1 deal a month. With platform being able to close 5 to 10 deals a month, it easily pays for all the marketing expenses.
What this comes down to is that Zach wanted to feel like he was in control of the future of his business. So many lenders are just dependent on getting leads from realtors. Zach wanted to flip the script. He's generating so many leads that he has agents coming to him, asking him for leads and asking him for marketing advice. And that is how he's grown his business so quickly.
It always kind of seems to be the other way around where, realtors are always giving referrals to loan officers, but their biggest complaint is, well, my loan officer never sends me anybody or, never helps me out and establish my business as well. So being able to have a fully pre-approved buyer ready to go, has made a world of difference as far as having other realtors contact me, want to work with me. Now I have realtors calling me asking to sit down for lunch rather than vice versa when I first started and I was actually chasing the realtors.
When you think about your business, there's this world where it's all about your script and it's all about making sales. It's all basically short term, not even looking at a quarterly basis, but you're thinking like, how many closings did I have this month, right? In this world, it's not about giving, it's about getting. It's about how many commissions can I rack up. It's, again, we said it's about the number of closings versus maybe building your list. This is all about working in your business because everything here is about things you do, right? It's about the scripts you have. It's about making sales, getting closings. It's all about things you do. Over here, this is all about the type of business you design. So I mean, everyone, it's a cliche, but everyone's heard working on your business versus working in your business, right? You came here thinking about more efficient ways of working in your business, or more effective ways of working in your business. And I'd like to consider the possibility that it might actually be more effective to do a half-assed job of working on your business than do a really good job of working in your business.
I really am a big believer that the more you focus on working on your business, the less you have to work in your business. The top agents in the country using the platform strategy usually aren't working 80 hours a week like some agents. They've designed their businesses to run on systems so that they can actually enjoy life even as their businesses scale to 50 transactions a year, 75 transactions a year, 100 transactions a year, and beyond. Next, I want to introduce you to my friend Shane Saunders, a realtor in Arizona. Shane is committed to the philosophy of high-hanging fruit, and it shows. His business is on pace to double.
Hi, I'm Shane Saunders, owner of Integrity Realty Group with RE/MAX Professionals. Started working with Platform it was December 21st of 15, so it's been about 8 months now. We have closed 17 or 18 deals from Platform leads. In the last 30 days, we've done 5. We have 4 under contract. Hopefully by the end of today, as we're filming this, another 1 to 2. So Platform was huge for me. I mean, I was pretty excited when I talked to Tim and found out there was no one in the Phoenix market, that the spot was open. It is just, you know, beyond the results and the closings, the amount of time it's freed up from me not having to create landing pages, not having to build ads, not having to do the sales copy. It's taken all of that stuff off my plate and now allowed me to just focus strictly on selling and creating new marketing.
And so while Shane's business has grown rapidly, he's always focused on the long term. It's not just about the number of transactions, it's about creating real relationships with the leads so that he can build a true book of business that'll result in referrals down the road. Shane doesn't just want to run on that hamster wheel of buying Zillow leads, okay? He's building a real business with fiercely loyal clients.
So I think one of the biggest things that attracted me to Platform, I think Tim and I really share the kind of the psychology of sales. We're not after the low-hanging fruit, you know, and so Tim has a book even that's high-hanging fruit, great book, and it's a lot about the same way I've conducted business. You know, I'm in this for the long game. So, you know, a lot of these leads are not ready tomorrow, and that's fine with me because these are not the Zillow leads where they're calling you on a Sunday. If you don't return the call, answer the phone, drop what you're doing, leave your family, and go show a house right away, they've moved on to some other realtor that will. So it's been great for me. I mean, the way we can cultivate these leads over time and build a relationship, it's nuts. I was telling Tim the other day that I have taken somebody from initial opt-in to under contract, and I didn't even have their phone number. And I didn't realize this until I was excited to tell them they were under contract and realized I don't even have their phone number. I had to email them and tell them. It's definitely different. I mean, it's the way I want to conduct business. I don't want to have to chase people. You know, if I don't return a phone call in 5 minutes, I don't want that client to have moved on. You know, that's not a client to me. That's not the relationships I want. So it's definitely, you know, the high-hanging fruit philosophy is just building relationships. Tim and I were talking a lot that, you know, instead of tracking leads, track relationships, because that will turn into cash.
And one of the coolest parts of Shane's business is that he's growing his income while keeping his expenses low. If you've ever scaled a business, even outside of real estate, you know how hard this can be. Many real estate teams look impressive on the outside because of the high gross commission numbers, but the actual net profits aren't very exciting once the expenses and the commission splits are factored in. Shane is building what I believe is the model of the future, a small, efficient operation that focuses on maximizing net profits instead of gross. Because of this, Shane is able to build lasting relationships with all the clients instead of just viewing them as just another transaction. You know, over time, this creates happier clients, more referrals, and bigger profits.
You know, one of the biggest benefits that I've experienced with Platform, yeah, the production is awesome, numbers are great, but we don't even really have a traditional team structure. So it's myself, a full-time admin, which is my wife, business partner, and then we run more of a showing assistant buyer's agent model, and we'll still do, I mean, where we're at right now, I would say we'll do probably 65 to 70 deals this year, and that's just us. So, you know, in my market, to put up a lot of those kind of numbers, you know, I'd say most people have a team, 3-4 people, if not bigger, to put up the same kind of numbers. So it's not always about gross commissions, it's about what you actually keep. So the system and the way we run things has allowed us to scale business pretty rapidly without having to scale my time investment, which was all I could ever do before.
So if you choose to start seeing the world this way, where rather than sales, we think about marketing. So rather than like big badass alpha male hunters, we're more like laid back farmers. We're planting seeds and we have a predictable harvest 3 months from now, 4 months from now, 5 months from now. Rather than thinking short term, we think long term. Rather than thinking about our business in terms of number of closings, we worry about the size of the list.
You've probably heard me say it 20 times now, and I'll say it another 20 times. The fastest way to grow your real estate business is to build a list of people who trust you. Don't just buy leads, cultivate your own leads. Build real relationships with real people. Don't just send email autoresponder sequences, get into real conversations with real people. The next team I want you to meet is located in Denver. They're hyper-focused on the platform strategy, and it's paying off. They will close over 40 transactions this year specifically from the platform system. And the average price point of these deals is over $300,000. Their name is MyCore Properties, and here's their story.
So when I was first introduced to the whole online lead platform system, I was skeptical. Now, a year later, we're closing 40 deals in 2016. And this is all due to the online marketing platform. For example, we have our buyers meet us in this building, which gives us instant credibility, because when you meet somebody on the internet, you never know if they're real or not. So when you come to a building like this, people come in here, they want to work with you, they realize you're real, and then you sign them up as a client. Come with me to the office. For example, we are closing 11 deals in June alone, totaling over $4.5 million. That is an incredible number, and about half of that came directly from the platform system. Now over here is the stuff you can't fake. This is our pipeline. This is ready buyers who've been pre-approved. They want to go searching, they want to go shopping, and they want to buy a home. 50% of these guys are all coming from our platform system, and it's proven that the high-hanging fruit mentality, the system, the platform leads, it really does work, and it's real.
When I first started, it was just Brandon and I, and we actually tried another leads company before platform, and that was, you know, the infamous internet lead. We got nothing. You know, I think we were with them for maybe a month and a half and made the switch to platform, and it was a completely different world. The cool part is the system's integrated to social media, so you know you'll see the person's Facebook profile pop up, so you know they're a real person. Their email address is legit, you know, and the autoresponders that go out and everything. It's personalized. It's not a machine, so people feel more comfortable knowing that it's an actual person. You know, you connect with them via social media. They see your profile, they see that, you know, you're actually a really good real estate agent, and, you know, the conversations just pick up instantly.
So as far as numbers are concerned, the amount of deals I can trace back from me personally is 2 per month is averaged. I've done 24 deals through the high-hanging fruit platform, and that equates to a huge number of commissions. It's crazy to say this, but I have too many leads, and it's a problem. I need more bodies in the office to support the leads that I have. And that's really, really the differentiating point between my business and somebody else's business is I need to recruit because I have too many people coming to buy homes for me.
In the real estate business, you never know when you're going to get paid unless you have a solid pipeline. And what Platform guarantees is a nice base to work off of at all times. It just gives me that sense of security, knowing that I have a full pipeline.
It's so funny. People will respond to my autoresponder. Yes, just yesterday, I had a woman reach out to me, and she met with me at the office after we set the meeting. She felt like she knew me. She had no idea that she was responding to my autoresponders and was getting my blast emails and just getting pretty much a robot responding to her, because to her, that robot was me. And when we met, it wasn't awkward. It wasn't weird. She knew I had kids. She followed me on Facebook. It was incredible because I didn't do anything. All I did was implement a system, and she opted into a funnel that I had. And next thing I know, I've got a client who I've never met before, never really even actually emailed back and forth until we set the meeting. And she's coming in. I don't have to sell anything. She knows what I do. She knows what she wants. She filled an application online to get it pre-approved before our meeting. I'm spending $10 a day. $10 a day. I spend more on that. I spend more at lunch than I do on my ads that run my business.
Not only are our leads kind of seeing our names come across on emails and they're hearing our voice on the phone, but even if they're not ready to buy and they're kind of being a little bit passive, when they see one of our market update videos, they're assured that, again, that I'm a real person. It integrates Facebook. It gets in front of people where they're at the most, which is on their phone. And, it's a tried and true system.
So throughout this film, you might have noticed some of the agents mention a strategy called retargeting. Retargeting is one of the secret weapon strategies that makes platforms so damn effective compared to all the other lead gen systems out there. Retargeting allows you to custom target your ads specifically to people who have already visited your website. So even if they don't register or sign up, your ads will keep following them around the internet on sites like Facebook and YouTube. This keeps you top of mind throughout the entire sales cycle. Instead of the clicks costing $5, $10, or even $20, the impressions are extremely affordable. Usually, retargeting costs less than 50 cents a piece.
In 2016, my team's gonna do over 40 lead gen deals, but it's not just all about the leads. We're walking up to a listing I have where the owner saw me in a retargeting campaign through a market update video, and now I've got a $450,000 listing. This whole high-hanging fruit marketing campaign strategy, it really works.
In high-hanging fruit, I talk about lead conversion. I mean, that's usually the word we use, right? How do I convert more leads, or how do I close more, or how do I sell more? Again, I don't think it's semantics. What if you change the language you used and just for a week, try it? Trust building, that's the verb you use. Like, oh, I'm really working on my trust building this week instead of lead conversion. Or my goal for next quarter with my team is to really dive deep into the psychology of trust building. We're gonna try to really focus on trust building versus lead conversion, okay? I don't think it's just semantics. And remember when I said that I was gonna keep repeating the importance of building trust? Well, I'm gonna mention it one more time. The success of the platform strategy is all about building a list of people who trust you. It's really that simple. So don't worry about generating leads or converting leads. That stuff will take care of itself if you're dedicated to actually helping people. So don't be like the top agent or the top producer. Instead, set your goal to be the most helpful realtor. If you do that, everything else will work itself out.
Okay, so I love this car. I've always wanted a Jeep Rubicon, always. Never thought I'd be able to get one, especially that I could just write out a check for, actually. But I was in platform for about 6 months when my other car actually blew up, and I just kind of thought, what am I doing? I can afford what I want. So drove onto the lot with that wreck and drove off with this Rubicon with only 6 miles on it, which was a fantastic day.
And so I want you to meet Debbie Caylor. The platform strategy literally rescued her career. After the housing market crashed, she was struggling to make a living. Now she's driving a brand new car, bought a new lake home, and business is better than ever. Her story is just incredible. So I'll let her share the details. This is the power of the platform strategy.
Hi, I'm Debbie Caylor. I'm a realtor in a very small town in west central Minnesota. Population just a little over 2,000. So it's a tough market. We have a lot of agents around here. In fact, I would say we are saturated because everybody for some reason thinks that real estate is the fast, easy money, easiest thing you can get into. So I got into real estate in 1990 and always did pretty well, probably in the top 10, 15, and then the market crashed. And being a single person, that was tough. I ended up losing my house, my car, pawned all my jewelry. I literally had nothing left other than the clothes on my back.
So, as I said, Debbie's story is one of the coolest platform stories I've ever heard. After 20 years in the business, things were so slow, she was about to quit real estate entirely and find a new career. She was applying for jobs around the country, just trying to find something to pay the bills. And then she discovered platform.
So thinking this is it, I have to get out of real estate permanently, even though I loved it. They found out my story and they said, you know, we have this young guy that does marketing for us, you should give him a try. So I was desperate and I decided, all right, I'm going to meet him. Turns out his name is Chermak. And he came over and talked to me and started telling me about platform, and I thought this is entirely too good to be true. There's no way anything is that good that's going to take me from about being homeless, literally homeless, to actually being able to stay in this business and make it. But humor me, I'll listen to him. So I meet him. He gave me the good sales pitch. Out of frustration, I hired him, and only because that day in the mail, the very last check had come from my retirement account. Very last check. And I knew it wasn't going to carry me through anyway, so what's the big deal? I might as well gamble. I threw it at him and said, all right, big talker, you think you can do this? Do it. I bet it was 3 weeks later, leads started to come in like crazy, and they started rolling in. I'm not kidding. And pretty soon I didn't have time for that other job I took. I was back into real estate. And here we are 2.5 years later, and I went from number 47 in my association up to number 2.
So Debbie went from having no money, literally losing her home, to being the number 2 agent in her entire association. I love this story. It's such an authentic example of the power of platform. The entire community noticed how quickly Debbie built her brand. Remember, building your business is as simple as building a list of people who trust you. Not just a database, but a list of people who trust you.
So one of the fun things with platform was I had so many friends say, you know, when the market crashed, we thought you were done. That was it. We thought your business was going under, that you were done, no more Debbie. And it's like you came back with a vengeance. All of a sudden we see videos all over the place and your signs are going up all over the place, and now you're really showing other people how it's done. I actually had a couple of my competing agencies come and try to recruit me with their company, to which it's like, no, I turned them down. I mean, they're like, don't you want to work for, and then they'd say their name because they're bigger names in the area. I don't have a big name. You know, Lakes Area Realty, Debbie Caylor Real Estate, you know, I don't have the big banners, the big balloons, anything like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't need you. I'm doing fine on my own. They didn't like that very well, but I've pretty much buried most of them, which is a great feeling. And it's all because of platform. I went from, like I said, bottom of the barrel, thinking that I was going under, to a place I never thought I would be. And it's because of the marketing. And that happened rather quickly. Actually, I would say within 3 months, people started to make comments about, wow, you came back strong. And by 6 months, it was, wow.
Amazing. So let's take a behind-the-scenes look at Debbie's office and get a feel for what her daily routine looks like when the leads are flowing in.
So I just want to give you a behind-the-scenes look at what platform has done for me just in this last week. I've gotten 3 pages of leads. The ones that are crossed off are the ones that I've actually come in contact with, I've had phone conversations with, or even met them for coffee. I've got 2 listing appointments out of it so far, and for sure 1 buyer, probably 2, maybe even 3. So it's been great that way. It keeps me busy. It keeps me in contact with people. But I really want to show you personally what it's done for me. So my dream car was always a Jeep Rubicon. And after working with Platform for, I don't know, about 6 months, I was finally able to get one. Brand new, right off the lot. And it only had 6 miles on it. So it was glorious. Working with Platform and really working the program, if you work it, it works. So if you've been in it and say that it doesn't work, it's only because you're not doing anything with it. I have proof, because what I'm going to show you is the property I was able to buy, and it may not be huge, but it is on a premier lake. It's on Green Lake, which used to be the second purest lake in the world. It's completely renovated. I can't wait to show it to you. So, you know, we're going to go there right now and take a look.
And you know, I'm reminded of that classic quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have whatever you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want. This is the very essence of the platform strategy. Just serve people. Before you ever ask for anything, provide value. Be the most helpful real estate agent in your market. As you'll see, it worked for Debbie, and it can work for you too.
I paid plenty for it just because it is where it is. But it is a Frank Lloyd Wright house, which does mean something, so I wanted to keep his design. And that's another reason I renovated what was there instead of tearing it down. It is a $500,000 house in a community where everything, you know, the average price is $150,000. So it's an accomplishment. I never thought I would be able to do that. So we're almost at my humble cottage. So not only was I able to buy this new car, but Platform also allowed me to buy my new lake home. So this is the lake home that I bought, and I was able to renovate the whole thing. What we're standing in was actually just a screen porch. Going into the kitchen, I was able to put in all new countertops, new flooring, all new appliances, took out some walls, added some windows, opened up the living room. This was a couple tiny rooms before, but what I love about this place is this epic view of Green Lake, and thanks to Platform, I get to enjoy it every day.
If you're interested in learning more about Platform, you can see the details of the system at www.theplatformstrategy.com. I really believe that this system is the most powerful marketing strategy in the world for ambitious real estate agents. If you're committed to scaling your business to that next level, you can get the details of how everything works at www.theplatformstrategy.com.
Hey guys, Jose Medina here, and I just wanted to kind of just break down some numbers for you guys. I'm actually on pace right now to hit 100 transactions this year, baby. That's right, 100 transactions, and all due to what? Platform.
So I know a lot of people that, you know, they always want to know what the financial investment is. And as with anything, it's relative to the results you get. So my ROI is ridiculous. So what I'm actually investing with Platform, you know, doesn't even concern me.
Without Platform and being able to offer that system to my agents, you know, I don't think my business would probably be half of where it is today.
I would just encourage you really to believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself.
The monetary cost of being a part of the Platform family is actually not that bad, and I've got a bigger team than most of the people who use it.
Due to the shift in the business, I'm actually doing more listings now than I am buyers. However, platform has also assisted me with that as well.
To see the progression that Jose has gone through because of platform, I mean, it's almost like I've been able to see a good agent, what a good agent's like, because he's good, he converts, he's a hustler, to an agent that's refined and who doesn't have to scramble for deals and depend on referrals.
The success that platform has helped me achieve, grow my business, is astronomical. And looking back, it's very scary to say that where would I be today without platform?
Making a transition to a commission-only career was scary, for sure. I haven't even been in real estate for a year. You know, I've been in it for maybe 9 months, and you know, thanks to platform, Friday I actually have 3 deals closing, and that'll be number 15, 16, and 17.
But I would just say, like, for me, platform marketing and high-hanging fruit is more than just a marketing system. It's a mind shift. It's a business philosophy almost. So for me, when I decided to do that, I just like made a commitment, not only financially but mentally, to go about my business in a different way and be more purposeful and just grow. And I knew that I couldn't do that organically. You know, I had to invest in marketing for that to happen.
For someone that's thinking about doing it, I think you really have to just look at your business and how committed are you to growth and to having a long-term sustainable business, to having a list of warm leads that's always ready to go.
So may you have the patience, may you have the courage, may you have the vision to bring a ladder and pick the high-hanging fruit.